And I'm muted. All right. Morning. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's do this again. I was just saying sorry for keeping you all waiting. I wanted to make sure that I had my coffee. Welcome back to the Wise Club. I am Maggie, the substitute teacher. You all may know me for my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. But in 2021, I booked a session, one-on-one session with the late, great Kevin Samuels. And it wasn't for me. I am happily average and in a relationship, but I was always convicted whenever he said, "Where are the older women to teach the young?" So, with his blessing, we started a community inside his Patreon, and he actually named it the Wives Club. And we would get together once a week and we would talk about our lessons learned from his streams as former wives, current wives, and future wives. And so I want to keep the legacy going with you all here, keep Kevin's name in and on our lips. And I'm going to be reacting to his most recent stream. It was called Modern Women Don't Understand. So, a little bit about me. I was married young at 25, loved being married, was married for 10 years, have two sons from marriage. But I always say and put myself out there that I did get caught up in a little bit of that modern woman mindset that we're equal. And unfortunately, it did end in divorce. However, we co parent really well, and the boys actually live with their father now. So, second time around, I got on the program quickly. Very happy in another relationship. And so I'm just going to give you all my perspective. And if you have questions, I'll try to answer them for you. Who do we have here? Thank you all for letting me know my audio wasn't connected. Hello, Loose Goose. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Tunisia. Now you all can hear me. Hello, Dr. Steele. All right, everyone. So if you see me looking down, I have my clips from the stream, and I'm going to recount them and give you my take. All right. So, one of the first things that Kevin said to kick off this stream, after he talked about the beauty, the brains, and the business, he wants to create bonds in the community. I believe we are better together. And if you want the type of relationship that will last the test of time, the way we're trying to do it in this modern day and age, obviously, is not working. And even though Kevin was very polarizing, I do believe he had a heart for the community and he wanted us to be together. So, in trying to build those bonds, he asked a question in this stream: what is the message for modern women? And I thought about this, and to me, I tell the modern women that I talk to, myself included, do not waste time, because you don't have time to waste. And we'll unpack that and see what it means. All right, so the next thing that Kevin talked about is separation. And basically, that means that you have to be willing to be separate from the pack. I know as people and as humans and as men and women, we do like to congregate and be together. That's how we're safe. That's how we're accepted. But if the way that the masses are moving is not serving your personal goals, your long-term goals, then you have to be willing to separate yourself. And Kevin said in this episode that he learned early on that you can be right or you can be correct. And I love that. I see this in a lot of modern women, especially if you like to argue, if you like to debate, if you like to get that point, if you always have to have the last word, you can be right and you can be wrong, you can be alone, you can be out of pocket, and you can disqualify yourself. So be willing to separate yourself and be willing to do the correct thing and not always have to be right. Dr. Steele is agreeing. Absolutely. He wanted us better together. All right. So, what is the right message for today's women? I'd love to know what you all think. I told you what I think in the chat. The next thing that Kevin talked about was how much flack he gets about his tone. And, for me, I laugh at this. When you grow up with a father, when you grow up with brothers, there's men in my family, mom of two boys. I have an ex-husband. I have a very high value man. I have uncles and all of that. Men just speak differently from women. This is another way we fall on our face when we say your tone, your tone. If you take the time to observe men, how they speak to each other, how they chastise each other, there's no niceness in that. Men just communicate and they get straight to the point. So I love that he said that we pay more attention to the tone as opposed to the message. If you like my tone, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you, I agree with Kevin on most things. So try, ladies, to listen to what's actually being said and not get so fixated on the tone, because I thought it was interesting that he said it's because of his tone that so many people were drawn to him. It's because he could cut through the foolishness that had us all listening and waiting for the next shoe to drop, right? Tunisia said, yes, you want to be correct, not right. I love that one. All right. So the next thing Kevin talked about was time boxing, the different sections of life for men. And I have my thoughts on for women. So he basically broke it up into thirds. He said that men have, and I'll get the ages wrong, but it was basically up until your 20s. Let's say you're a young man, and then kind of that middle section of life, maybe like, let's say from 30 to 40, 45, 50, and then you have the rest of your life. And if you've watched boys, and I see this in my own sons, men have to work very hard to become the masculine men that we admire and respect. And it takes them time, and we should allow them that time. The difference is, as men are starting and stopping and failing and figuring it out, when a lot of women are looking at them like, I'm better than you, something happens when they achieve their level of success, whatever that is for them, and then they maintain that, and some even advance from there. And then if you didn't take advantage of the opportunity when you had it, for most of the women that I talk to, that ship has sailed, and there's a gravity of the situation that I'm feeling, and I'm seeing it more and more. Not everything can be fixed, ladies. So I urge the young women to take relationships seriously. On the flip side of that, for women, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say it: if you don't have this relationship thing sorted out by 25, I hate to say it, but ladies, it is going to be incredibly hard for you. Nothing is impossible. But what happens, ladies, is that the more you distance yourself from your biological imperative, the more you get experiences and build up habits that don't help you in relationship, the harder it is for you to course correct later in life. And so it takes an amazing amount of humility and learning, like my man told me one time in a row. So if you've built up that argumentative, if you've built up that defiance, if you've built up that that always having to be right, the men that are at the level that you want to be with, they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt, because they're not going to waste their time, because when they're ready right now. So I urge younger women. I remember when I was married at 25, I feel like I just beat the buzzer, because I didn't want to be closer to 30 than I was to 20. And I'm going to say it, ladies, over 30, like Kevin used to say, that's old for a first time bride. If I am fortunate enough to get remarried, it's not going to be a big white dress church wedding. I did that the first time. If I couldn't keep it together and I'm fortunate enough to have a second chance, then I need to run like I stole something and get out of the market, which I did immediately after my divorce. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Hello, Lexus. Hello, Honey Smiles. Thank you all so much for being here. The Condemned says, I was mentoring a young man yesterday about not slacking on his studies, and he told me thank you because he needed it. He was given a great opportunity, and I scolded him for complaining about the work. I love that. So you see what we mean, ladies? Men give it to other men, and some men can take it and make themselves better, and some men just give up. And you know the type of men that we are attracted to. They are strong, they are resilient, they are determined, they are alpha, or whatever you want to call them. But it costs them a lot to become that. So don't think that he's just going to turn it off for you and treat you with kid gloves. My man was over here yesterday. I had my keypad for the heating and air. The button started sticking, and he brought some new ones over and replaced everything. And the way he was just kind of ordering me around, I'm going to need you to do this. I need you to do this. Download this app, set that. And there was a part of me, I still sometimes, y'all, I'm like, okay, that's a little harsh, but I know better. I shut my mouth and I get it done. When they're focused, they are focused. Then when they relax, you can have your time. Loose Goose has a question, says, when should women think about marriage or a forever person? I'm going to be honest with you, as teens. One of the questions that Kevin asked multiple ladies in this stream is, were you raised to be a wife? And unfortunately, for a lot of modern women, you were not. And that's not your fault, but you are going to have to seek it out. I will give you an example. My upbringing, immigrant family. At 13, I was cleaning the house top to bottom, doing the whole family's laundry, not just my own, babysitting neighborhood children, and being a Girl Scout, and having straight A's and all the other things that go with it. And my mom told me all the time, Maggie, if you cannot do this, who will cook for your children? Your future husband is not going to like this. Watch your father. Notice how he does this. That happened from the time that I was a child, and I didn't understand it. But when I became an adult, I was able to put that into overdrive because I was prepared. Even though I kind of got into that modern woman, college and corporate way of thinking, when my marriage ended, immediately I was able to resort back to what my foundation was. So ladies, you have to ask yourself that. If nobody in your family talked about relationships, you are behind. If you are not given the tools as a child, you are behind, because you're competing with women who are raised to prioritize relationship, marriage, and family. So if you're asking when should women think about marriage, if you're thinking about it as a woman, it's already too late. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday, everyone. Hello, Akil. All right. Let's see. All right, so there was a clip in this montage. This episode was multiple Kevin Samuel streams kind of chopped up and put together. And there was one where Kevin was talking to two younger women. One was a student and one was, I don't know what she did, but they were both in bed and talking to him. And it hurt my heart to see some of this conversation, but let's review. So we talked about the sections of life. So on this clip, Kevin was talking about the lack of accountability that we have as women. And unfortunately, ladies, it's true. He was asking these young women, who is responsible for you having children out of wedlock? And there was all this, well, what if this happened? And what if the man? And how will I know if he's my husband? And all of this tap dancing, when the answer is us. We control who we give access to our body. We control who we give access to our womb. And if you did not value it, if you gave it away for free, if you created a legacy for a man who wasn't deserving, that's on you. So wait for marriage, and have an intact family. Because like Kevin said in this episode, when you have children out of wedlock, you are setting yourself and your children up for a much more difficult life. We are not celebrities. We don't have a team of nannies, but even the ones that are online crying about graduating from their marriage wish that they had an intact family until they destroyed it. Take it from a divorcee. And my ex-husband and I co-parent really well, but it's harder than it has to be. So don't put that pressure on yourself. And my man told me, when a woman has children and she's trying to date, it puts an unnecessary amount of pressure on the relationship, because you're trying to put the pieces back together. You're trying to hurry up and make this family. You're trying to makeshift something that didn't happen in the natural order. So it's just the truth, ladies. You can do what you want to. Nobody really cares. All right, let us continue on. The other thing that Kevin got onto her about was she started talking about, well, men are this or men are that. Kevin was the king of statistics, and I don't have statistics, but ladies, you are not going to be able to say, but yeah, the men in our community, or men aren't this or men aren't that. Obviously, the men that you want don't want you. And you have to do some introspection and ask yourself why. It's normal and natural that we want to be in relationship. But if you're surrounded by men that don't present themselves as husband material, ask yourself, why is that? If the men that approach you only approach you for fun times and not for a long time, ask yourself why. We are responsible for what we allow. Um, I remember my man was telling me when a girlfriend was complaining, well, he's a narcissist and he's this and he's that. And he just basically said, well, why does a narcissist have access to you? So you have to ask yourself those questions. K and Q says, keep doing it, Maggie. Thank you. I absolutely will. All right. So we talked about being raised to be a wife. And ladies, if that doesn't strike a chord with you and you're like, yeah, my mom told me, my grandmother told me, my auntie showed me. If you are drawing blanks on that, understand and accept that you are behind if you want something traditional. All right. So Kevin often asked young women, what did your mother teach you about to do for a man? And a lot of women draw a blank on that. A lot of women look at relationships like, I'm going to look into your googly eyes forever. I like you and you like me. And we're just going to, ride off into the sunset. That's not real. There are moments of happiness, but real work, real relationships require real work, because real men live in the real world. Okay. So I thought about this question, and in a nutshell, if you asked me, what did your mother teach you to do for a man? The simple answer is follow his lead. Now, again, the feminists are going to go screaming for the hills, and that's fine. I really do not care. But ladies, a man builds himself, a man builds his life, a man builds his vision, and he does as much as he can on his own to be able to take care of himself before he is then ready to create the family of his own. And I'm going to say something that's going to hurt you all's feelings, but I'm going to tell you, just like my man told me, if you are not married, you are not a mother. You are a baby mama. A man chooses a wife, has children with his wife, so that she can be the mother that he chooses. I'm going to leave that right there, but I'm telling you, like my man told me. Okay, so following his lead. So when you marry, when you see a man that has leadership qualities that you can say, oh yeah, I can get on this program. Absolutely, this is what I'm looking for. And you are useful to him and you are unproblematic. You follow his lead. Why is that? Because ladies, you don't want to do this when you're 50 and 60 on your own. So that is why I shut my mouth and I get on the program. I have an amazing man, but he has a vision for the future. I'm just happy to be here. Most of the time, if we're honest with ourselves, ladies, we're just kind of living for today. Well, I'm happy today. I'm chasing the new shiny toy. A man on his purpose can tell you his 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year, 30-year goals. So that is what my mom taught me, not only by telling me, but by showing me. My parents met in college. They come from different parts of Ghana. When they got married, my mom moved to my dad's village. She learned his language. She learned how to cook his foods. She learned how to pass on his traditions. Now, if hearing that gives you a visceral reaction and you're like, absolutely not, we're equal, we're partners, fine. Have it your way, Burger King. You probably will be alone, but just understand why. So when you get to 40 and 50 and 60 and you're my age, I'll be 49 next month, you're not asking questions like, where did it go wrong? I'm telling you where it's going to go wrong, because the man that you want is not going to negotiate with you. So that's why you have to choose wisely. And that's why I say, ladies, do not waste your time, because you don't have time to waste. What Kevin said when asking these women, what did your mother teach you to do for a man? He said, it's to learn how to work with and for a man. So I am a woman of faith. I don't really talk about it, but even if you don't believe in the scripture, pick any book, pick any story, pick any religion. The man comes before the woman. And the woman is a helpmate. She is a support system. She makes life easier for him. She makes life more comfortable for him. She helps him achieve his goals. And in doing that, ladies, you get everything that you want: the protection, the provision, the covering, of course, the love, the gifts, the respect, and all of that. But you earn that by being a support system to him. So many modern women are leading with their hand out. Some of them even literally, you have to do this for me before you have my attention. Well, what you're going to receive is a temporary time, and then you're going to be repeating that over and over and over and wondering why it's not lasting for you. All right, let's see here what you all are saying in the chat. Honey Smile says, would it be easier for single moms to find fathers? I'm going to say no. When I read this, I thought it said, would it be easier for single moms to be with single fathers? In that case, yes. Ladies, if you have children, you have to be exceptional to be with a man who doesn't have his own legacy yet. And I mean exceptional, and most of us aren't. But no, it's not easy for single moms to find fathers. You already created your family. And I'm telling you all, when I got with my man, somebody that I grew up with, and that is the only reason why I'm here, because he knows me, he sat me down on the second date, told me his goals, and said, this is what I'm going to do for you. But you have to finish what you started. And I'm someone who was married with children, and they were young. And so I had to wipe my tears and get to work and be everything that he needs, and then manage my family with my ex-husband, because that is his legacy. All right. Dr. Steele says Kevin was one of the few content creators who told you where he got his statistics from. Yes, absolutely. Oh, there it is. Would it be easier for single moms to date single fathers? Yes. Glad I said it. Thank you. Yes. Help me. Help. Absolutely. All right, let us continue on. Oh, I'm glad this is helpful. I don't know who that is, but thank you if it's a compliment. Thank you from Russia. Jerry says, I'm telling you all how to keep a husband till the end of time. Well, I hope this is helpful. Take it from an older woman, ladies. If your mother did not teach you how to be a good woman to a good man, hopefully you can learn something here. All right, let us continue on. So we talked about what we should have been taught from early age. And if you didn't get that lesson, ladies, you are behind. Is it over for you? No, but you're going to have to really put it into overdrive. And yes, I do have a course. And yes, I have all of that. You can just go to the link in the description, teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. I have wife lessons, 4 weeks of wife lessons that are coming up, privately taught in November. So you can go to the link in the description and you can use code Maggie if you want to enroll. We teach it live. Okay. The other thing that Kevin was talking about when he was talking to these women is that for a lot of modern women, relationships are a joke, or you lead in very aggressively. Both of those approaches, you are not going to find success, because if you want a serious man, like I've said before, you have to show up as a serious woman. And if you show up as aggressive, that is going to repel the masculine man that you want. I'm telling you, ladies, believe me, from a modern woman who thought all of my degrees and paper on the wall and my accomplishments mattered something, it does not in the relationship that you want. A masculine man requires a feminine woman. And one of the things that the young lady says, she's like, oh, I'm girly. Girly is not femininity. When I talk to women, a lot of times they want to put on what they think is girly. They want to change their voice to talk a different way. They want to wear flowery dresses and all the things that I do because I want to, but it has to come from within. Men will vet you as they should. And ladies, I'm telling you, one of the reasons why I say 25 is my new cutoff. Men today, if they're even marriage minded, they're going to vet you at least 2 to 3 years. As they should, because they have too much to risk. So if you're playing games, if you think you can turn it on or turn it off, When he tells you no for the first time, your true nature will come out. When he sees how you spend your free time, your true nature will come out. When he gives you a little something and he sees how you handle resources, your true nature will come out. So you really do have to do that inner work. If it's not there, you will find yourself starting and stopping over and over again. All right. One of the ladies on the stream, she had these ridiculous nails, and he called her out about it. And ladies, do what you want to your body. Who am I? I'm just a mom on the internet. But when he asked her about these nails, and he said, what men of value do you see with women that do whatever you've done to yourself? And ladies, ask yourself that question. And he didn't talk about celebrities, athletes, and entertainers, but look at the men of value in your community and look at their wives and ask yourself, do you have some of the same characteristics, or are you the polar opposite? So when he tried to correct her, she was like, oh, I'm not changing that. That comes with me. And he said, well, that costs money and men don't like that. And she was like, yeah, well, this is just who I am. I'm not changing it. And then the other thing that she said further on in the conversation is that this is why I can only have one child. And it is selfish. Now, ladies, I get it. Not everybody is meant to be a wife. I accept that. Not everybody is meant to be a mother. Excuse me. I accept that. So do what you want to do. But I'm going to tell you, when I talk to men who observe, one of the conversations I had with Thane, when he looks at a woman's hands and you have all this elaborate stuff going on, what it says is that you are not useful in the way a man needs you to be useful. How are you going to take care of children? How are you going to be active? How are you going to be, what is the word? I want to say relatable, but that is not normal. Of course, get yourself dressed up when it's a special occasion for date, but day to day, a man wants his woman to be working not in the same way just as hard, but just as dedicated to the family goals and the vision that he set. So if your priority, if the family takes a back seat to your beauty routine, you've already lost. Dr. Steele says women have their version of look smacking. I don't know what that means, but thank you for sharing. All right, so he talked about that behavior is unacceptable. So look at your behavior, ladies. Are you defiant, argumentative? Whenever someone tries to correct you, here comes, the beast within, because you just have to be right, even though you're, like Kevin said, loud and wrong. The other thing he talked about was this casual disrespect. And it was terrifying, honestly, for me to watch the way a lot of women talk to Kevin Samuels, not just because he was Kevin Samuels, but any man your senior. I have a lot of respect for men, for people in general, but it has gotten so familiar and so casual now. People can just think they can talk to you any kind of way. Do what you want to. The consequences are yours. But ladies, I would say this: humbling yourself and leading with respect, especially before you are invited in to be familiar, will take you a long way. In relationships, respect is more important than love to men, which is very different. For we women, we are emotional creatures. We want to feel the love. We want all the warm and fuzzies. A man does not care if you wear what he wants you to wear, cook his favorite meal, do all of the intimate things, remember gifts on his birthday. If you do all of these things, yet you disrespect him, it is a non-starter. So watch that and humble yourself. I always say we are not equal. We are equally valued. It's actually quite masculine. And I think it's much more beautiful when a man elevates his woman. Think about the men that you admire, how they talk about their wives, how they talk about their mothers, their grandmothers. These women didn't come through the door saying, I'm a 10, I woke up like this. But when a man that you respect speaks honorably, it even goes back to scripture, if you believe, about his wife, that is a woman that I admire. All right. Gear Jammer says, I am correct. Thank you so much. Gear Jammer says, my ex-wife never learned that stuff. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. A lot of modern women are lost, and I hate to say it, but the more and more I talk to them, ladies, we have been rewarded for bad behavior, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. And I do believe, and I hate to say it, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So, course correct and do what you can. But my conviction is that the older women should teach the young. And I believe we teach by what we've done, by saying what we've done right as well as what we've done wrong. And I'm glad that you agree. All right. So, we talked about the casual disrespect. Now, in modern times, I know we have this dating culture, and Kevin has often said that dating is dumb. And ladies, yes, I do believe dating is a waste of your time because you're going to be picking up a lot of experiences that aren't going to help you for the long term relationship that you want. Back in the past, and I'm not saying we need to go back to arranged relationships, but back in the past, there was a vetting and a selection process before it even got to the point of marriage, moving in, God forbid, having children. That is why our fathers, that is why our brothers, our uncles, the men in our community were involved because they did have our best interest at heart. So when we discount men, one of the things that we are unknowingly doing is we are discounting their decision making. And I tell my man all the time, one of the things that I love about him is how decisive he is. I find myself getting really flustered sometimes when I have too many options, but I love how a masculine man can just go forth and say, this is what we're doing. And I can relax and drop my shoulders down and just go with the flow. One of the young ladies that was in the stream, she said, yeah, but were these older people happy? And I think we have a misconception of what happiness is. Yes, there are going to be moments of joy and happiness and trips and trinkets, and that's fine, but that's not going to last you over the test of time. One of my proudest moment is having been a wife and being a mother. And I have a lot of accomplishments on paper and out in the business world, and that's fine. But those things will fade and you'll always be chasing another high. So one of the things we have to understand, ladies, is that men want to live forever. I see this in boys, that whole superhero, the way that they feel like they have that strength and they're going to change the world. That is a very masculine trait. And I think it's attractive and it's admirable. So the reason that men vet and the reason why they choose wisely is because they know they're not going to be here forever, even though they want to be. So they choose the woman that will continue to lift their banner. Get a little emotional. They choose the woman that is going to make sure that their sons and daughters bring honor to their name. They choose the woman that is going to respect them in the community and not dishonor all of the work that he's put in. They choose the woman that is going to treat his resources with care and continue the legacy that he's built. Ladies, this is not a game. This is not about putting on a dress and having a party. This is about who is going to remember you when you are gone. That is what men think about. And that is why they choose and vet the way that they do. And I pray that you take it seriously. All right. So let's go back. Hot girl summer, all the stuff that women are doing. But unfortunately, ladies, you're spending money that you don't have. And there is this perception that we can just do whatever we want to do, and then the family takes a back seat later. That is not what a man who has built himself wants. And you're going to find yourself alone if you prioritize the fun. And believe me, that fun is fleeting. And I love to have fun, but what will satisfy you, it's like good food over sweets. And believe me, I know what satisfies you is something that's going to last. All right. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Oh. Gear Jammer says, ladies, remember this. Never say or do anything to your husband that he wouldn't allow a man to do. Watch what you say and do, and never get in a man's face and disrespect him. Yes, ladies, that's I can't even imagine that, but Women don't know how protected we are simply because we are women. The International Quiet Storm says, talk heavy today, Maggie. The truth hurts, but it's necessary. Thank you. Latasha says, I feel like you're bashing women for being themselves. Why must a woman find value in herself through a man? You don't. You are absolutely, completely fine being alone. Nobody is going to force you to be in a relationship, and I support your decision. Cinnamon says, what is this stream about? I am reacting to Kevin Samuel's latest stream, Modern Women Don't Understand or Don't Get It, right? The Condemned says, I'll say it again for the women in the back. Respect is far more important to us men than love. We will be perfectly fine without a woman's love, but we will still love her if she respects us. Absolutely. So true. Thank you all so much for the support. All right, let's see what else you all are saying in the chat, and then I will continue on. Dr. Steele says, what exactly is dating? I thought dating was about men and women getting to know each other. Yes, but I slightly disagree. For me, and ladies, if you are marriage minded, the purpose of dating is to determine if this is a suitable match for long term or marriage. Dating is not about getting dressed up and going to a restaurant you can't afford by yourself. Dating is not about flexing on your girlfriends and posting on Instagram. Dating is not about having something to do because you're lonely on a Friday or Saturday night. I have said it before and I will say it again. Do not date a man that you don't see as husband material. You are wasting your own time, and it is time that you do not have to waste. Because believe me, I talk to women all the time, and I used to think by 30, it's a wrap. I'm going to say by 25, if you haven't prioritized this, it is going to be incredibly hard for you. All right. Rochelle says, this is very helpful. I've heard a lot of this from my husband, who I've almost lost a few times. I'm so glad you kept your marriage together. I'm still a work in progress, but I'm more respectful and I have learned not to be so combative. Thank you. That is the best thing. You just made my day. I'm so glad to hear that. Ladies, I really do want you all to win. I really do. Kalissa's loving it. James says, this is awesome. Oh, you all are liking this stream. Thank you so much. Condemn says, talk to her, Maggie. All right. Hello, Susie Q. All right, let us continue on. So we talked about the one kid. We talked about prioritizing your beauty routine and what you want to do over relationship. The other thing is living at your means. And this is something that I admittedly did not do well. Now, I don't have debt and I make good money. I do work. I work in tech. That's neither here nor there. The point is that, ladies, if marriage and family is priority for you, and I said this in a stream that was clipped and people were, all in their feelings about it, that's fine. I do not care. But it is important that, ladies, even if you make money, that you learn to live potentially on one income. I know how we are as women. We're impulsive. If we have it, we want to spend it. I want to upgrade everything. It's burning a hole in our pocket. Men are risk averse by nature, which means they don't believe it until they see it. They're always preparing for a rainy day. And why is that, ladies? Because nothing was given to them. Men have learned by trial and by fire and by getting kicked in the teeth that nobody is coming to save you. So men learn early and on, okay, nobody's coming to rescue me. So I have to do this for myself. I have to be prepared. I have to be resourceful. I have to protect my own interests. So when we come into a relationship and it's just like, turn up, let's go out every meal. Let's travel internationally with 3 kids in tow. Let's just do all that. What that shows up to a man is risk. Everything that I've built, everything that I've worked hard for, she's just going to blow it. And that's why a lot of women, you can find yourselves being financially unattractive to the man of your dreams. So what do? You learn how to save. You learn how to work with leftovers. You learn how to scrimp and save, so that if times do get hard, it's not that much of an adjustment for you. Believe me, every woman, from the glamour girl to the farm girl, we all like nice things, and those will come in time. But living above your means, having to have everything right now just because you want it, you are going to find yourself. It just breaks my heart when I see older women working these backbreaking jobs, but it's because they either didn't partner with a man who planned for them, or they spent it all when they had it and now they're working hand to mouth. Now, know this: if you're going to be with a masculine man, he's going to put some structure around that spending. Believe me, I had a talking to. We don't need to spend it all. We got the rest of our lives. We can wait. So, again, if you haven't seen this, if you didn't get this teaching and training growing up, you're behind, because the modern world that we live in is very consumer friendly. There's always something to buy, a new experience, a new restaurant that's opening. So, we have to discipline ourselves, ladies, to have some delayed gratification if relationship is important to you. We talked about the attitude. He talked about why women, we don't like that structure. We naturally rebel against it. Um, I think our natural personality as women, we definitely want to go with the flow. That's why that masculinity is so important. I have my box, I have my ring of fire. I know exactly where the hot stove is, and I don't touch it. So I stay in my lane, and I am the happiest I've ever been. Believe me, I put myself out in front. I put myself in a breadwinner position. 10 years of marriage and 10 years of marriage and 2 kids later, I was miserable trying to hold it all together. So take it from an older woman. You can grow old gracefully, but you have to plan for that. So we talked about how men look at wives and how they look at everything else. And we talked about what you can do to not only attract, but keep a man. Because, ladies, this constant dating, this spinning plates, this whatever games you all are playing, you're wearing yourself out. Then you're going to bring the worn out version of yourself to a man and expect him to rescue you from yourself. It's not going to work that way. That's why a lot of women are finding themselves alone. All right, let's see what you all are saying in the chat, and then we can continue on. Yes, Susie Q says courting and dating are different. Yes, courting has goals. Dating is just, I guess, to hook up. If that's what you want to do, that's an option. Nobody's going to stop you. Dr. Steele is agreeing. Oh, thank you so much all for being here. Kerr says, I committed myself to someone who hated heroes, even though I took care of her and her kids as my own. I learned she resented me, and it showed openly. I couldn't understand, but remember, she hates heroes. I don't feel like I have a place to tell men what to do. I tell the boys with their father. I will say this. I have told both boys, build yourself first, and then choose a woman that's going to get on your program. We have one that's on his way to the Marines, and then another one will be going to the Air Force prayerfully next year. So life is hitting very hard now, and it's a good thing. We're incredibly proud. I've told the boys, do not date a woman with children. Create your own family and legacy. It's too difficult, and you've worked too hard. And I've also told the boys, do not be with a woman who doesn't respect you. At whatever level you are in your career progression or your life, if she is disrespectful, find someone who is respectful and leave her right there. So hopefully that's useful. Gunmetal Guy says, wise words. Hopefully they sink in. Yeah, the internet is forever. I'm here until I'm not. Life is changing. The boys are almost up and out. My man has plans about where he wants to go and do, and I will happily follow. So I will say this. The women that I talk to, they often come back to me months later, years later, and say, Maggie, you told me this back then. So again, ladies, don't waste your time. I'm fine. I'm set. Like Kevin said, the good ones are quiet. We don't say much. But I do feel, because I don't have daughters, I only have boys. Listen, look at the outcomes that you have. If you're not happy with where you are right now, hopefully it's not too late for you to change it. All right, so let's see what else you all are saying. Gunmetal Guy says bingo. International Quiet Storm says that is correct. No one is saving us and no one cares. So we adapt accordingly. This is what men deal with, ladies. So if you think you're going to bring our chaos into the structure that they have built for themselves, you're going to find yourself alone. Gillis says the young women thinking being alone is not a big deal. I want to hear them 30 years later without a partner and with health issues and all of your young qualities are gone if you still have options. Yes, ladies, that's true. And thank you, Gillis, for being honest and sharing. I'll be 50 next year, and I'm looking forward to growing old gracefully because I prioritize relationships. And I've shared with you all, I have finished Psych Hack's book, and there's so much in there. But one of the things that he said is you can always join the workforce after you have your marriage and family. If you feel like you want to take up a new skill or trade or go to school or open a business or start a YouTube channel, all of that is available for you in your 30s and beyond. However, the opposite is not true. So, for the professional women, hear me. If you continue to postpone relationship and go head first into building someone else's legacy, that is not your husband, putting money in someone else's pocket or saving their bottom line, that is not your husband, that is fine. Do what you want to do. But if you think you can do that full speed ahead, and then when you get to 35, 40 plus, now your hair is on fire, and now you want the opportunity for the marriage and family of your dreams, that ship has sailed. So you cannot have the relationship that you want after you've prioritized other things because men are going to look at that and men look for consistency. And I talk to so many women in their 30s and 40s and they're like, now I want something serious. And I asked my man about that and I was like, what do I tell them? He was like, yeah, that's not who they are. And I'm like, what do you mean that's not who they are? They're saying it, they're crying, now their hair is on fire. They really want a relationship. Let me tell you how masculine men speak. He's like, no, they don't. And I said, why would you say that? And he said, because they didn't choose that. Ladies, nobody is going to feel sorry for you. This young and dumb, you made the choices that you made. We all make the choices that we made. So it is going to be a very hard sell to the man of your dreams in your later years that now you're ready. Because when you had the option and you had the leverage and you had the power, you did not choose a relationship. Let us continue. All right. So we talked about life not being a party. The next woman that Kevin talked to, this was a good conversation. She was a truck driver. She had 4 children, never married. She had 13, 15, and 17, and then a 2-year-old. She was in a relationship with a man for the 3 older children. And then, pardon me, went to Africa, met a man there, had another baby. Just a complete mess. And in the conversation with her, he was asking her, what is the message, either for women or what are you telling your children? And she kept talking about what not to do. Basically, it was coded in fear. And he said something in this dream. A lot of times, ladies, when we've blown up our own life, that is the message that we lead with. We try to put that on other women, on younger women. We try to put that on men. Well, men ain't you know what, because, all the ones that I've known have done this to me. You allowed it, ladies. So my point is that not only are the choices that we make affecting us now, they're actually affecting our outcome. So whether you know it or not, you will start to spew that negativity to others and to, God forbid, your children if you have made poor choices. That's why family and legacy is so important. That is why men look at our family of origin. Another thing I have told the boys, she can look like whatever she wants to. You have to look at her. But make sure she comes from a good family. That upbringing and that programming that we all got as we were being raised, it's in us. That is our foundation. Hopefully you had a solid foundation. If you didn't, then you're going to have to work really hard to replace that programming with what's going to be helpful for you. But we all know them and we all see them. Holidays are coming up, you know, women who are, let's just say it, spinsters, never married, no kids, and they're walking around with their shopping bags and they're acting like everything's great and I don't need a man and I don't want this. But something's going to happen. People are going to celebrate with their families, whatever your faith is, whether you celebrate or not. People are starting to make plans. You know, what are we doing for Thanksgiving? Whose house are we getting at? And that's when you realize, man, I don't really have anybody that's kind of including me. I guess I can be the third wheel. I guess maybe somebody will invite me or bring me a plate. So, ladies, don't believe the lie. You are sowing seeds. You will reap them. And I hope you like what you sow. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Yes, and Killa says, and women supporting themselves with the single source income. We are not built for the long haul, ladies. You can argue me down if you want to, but I went from being an executive for the Coca-Cola company, great job, stressed as you know what, to now basically working contract work, temp, because my man has said, I like you better this way. You're happier. You seem to be calmer this way. And it was a big check on my ego to think, oh my gosh, I got this big job, big team, big degrees, all of that. I didn't realize how miserable I was. And so it is so nice to be able to relax and not worry about what's going to happen in the future. If you want to handle it by yourself into the end, that's fine. But I think if we're very honest with ourselves, we would be so relieved to have a man with a plan that includes us. Oh, Honey Smile says, one of my cousins is a single mom. She was with the father for 11 years. He cheated. She's 35 and wants to get married. Good luck to her. I would say at 35, she's probably going to have to do like my man told me, finish what you started, and then we will have our time. Ladies, you don't get what you want just because you want it. We've got to understand that. We don't just have these lists and these dreams and say, you know, oh, if I wish upon a star one day, this is what I want. That's great, but that's not how the real world works. Kevin said in this episode, you have to know the man that you want to be with. Understand what he's looking for in a woman, in a wife, in a life partner, whatever you want to call it, and be that to him. It's not just we wake up and say, I want this. Yes, we have to adjust ourselves if we want that traditional relationship. And if you don't, that's totally fine. But we don't get to just wish upon a star and say at 35, okay, I know I wasted my 20s and had a child for a man who wouldn't marry me, but now I'm ready now. Everything can't be fixed, ladies. And I'm sorry to say. Hello, Jurgen. Thank you so much for being here across the pond. International Quiet Storm says, congratulations to the boys. Thank you. That's my proudest moment. And they live with their father. And that was another hard one for me, but they are the better for it. Ladies, estrogen reduces a man's testosterone. And I'm not a scientist in that way, and I am not a doctor, but when boys are surrounded by women and overbearing women, it stunts their growth. They were with me until high school. Now they live with their father and they visit me, and they are the better for it because my mother told me, Maggie, those are his sons. You gave him sons. My girlfriends told me, those are your kids. I'll let you figure out which one I listen to. Jay says, if women feel worn out by dating and just showing up, what do the men feel like when they're the ones doing all the work? Yes. And this is why, ladies, unfortunately for us, the dating culture has made a lot of men decide it's not worth it. I'm just either going to do something over there or I'm going to do nothing at all. So the pool of men that we want to choose from is shrinking because of our own actions. So if you don't think you need to show up and compete for the man that you want, good luck to you. I work every day to be the woman that my man needs. And it is a joy and an honor for me. And here is my cheat code. I listen to him. I respect him. If he tells me he likes something, I do more of that. If he tells me he doesn't like if he tells me he doesn't like something, I stop doing that. That is my cheat code. Oh, equal responsibility says, finally, a woman who speaks the real. I get so much hate as a woman for defending men. I understand, I get it too. It just doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm here until I'm not. And I'm looking forward to my future. And my responsibility, and I say this unapologetically, is to the family that I've created. I am a former wife and mother first. That is my job. If I am so fortunate to remarry, my husband, my future husband, who is my man, will be my priority. I will share whatever is left after that. But please believe that the hate and the comments and the insults do not mount to a hill of beans in the real world. I understand what internet courage is. Susie says, girls, don't slide into a relationship, decide your relationship. Yes, be intentional. All right, let's see what else is here. And then I'll see what you all are saying in the chat. And I was told to keep these to an hour, so I'm going to try and wrap it up. I'm always over. Okay, so we talked about the truck driver. We talked about the negativity that comes from women who have made their own poor choices. So ladies, consider the source when you're talking to or getting advice from women, myself included. If what I say is not for you, and I mean this genuinely, if you want to hit the bricks just as hard at him, right out at 6 a.m., he pays 50% of the bills, you pay 50%, you all do equal chores at home. If that works for you, God bless it. Have at it. If you want to be the leader in the relationship and you want to buy the ring and propose and have a man on your program, some women want to do that too. God bless it. If you would not trade places with the person who is giving you the advice, do not take their advice. All right. So let's see. I'm just scrolling through my notes here. We talked about a lot of this, prioritizing family. There were a couple other women on the stream that talked about what they wanted, how they wanted to travel with their family, how they wanted to be, yes, I want to be a mother, but I don't want to lose myself. I want to do, everything. Ladies, hear me and hear me well. You can have it all, but you cannot have it all at the same time. There is a reason why you all know Maggie at almost 50 with a senior in high school and a junior in high school on their way to the service. I was a hands-on full-time mom. Yes, I worked, but the children were the priority. I was cooking, I was chaperoning field trips, doing teacher gifts, running around to every sport, swim, soccer, basketball, everything. Karate, we did it all. And it was an absolute joy for me. Was it a lot of work? Absolutely. But I always wanted to be, and I'll get emotional. A lot is happening to me all this year. Just Marcus going to the Marines. I'm just, life is getting very real and I'm so proud of him. But I always wanted to be a wife and a mother. And I do regret that I let my ego think that my professional accomplishments mattered more. But as soon as my ex-husband divorced me, I learned a very painful lesson. And like I said, second time around, I got on the program and I threw myself into being the best woman that I can be for the man of my dreams and to being the best mother that I can. I gave it all. And that is my crowning achievement and my joy. And now when they go out into the world and live their life, it will be my time. Now I'm able to talk to you all and share, but only because I prioritize what really matters, because my children will speak my name when Maggie is no more. All right. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. And then I'm actually going to go pick up Alex and go to church. Susie says, you're 50, happy and single. I am so happy to hear that. Wonderful. International Quiet Storm says, reality always sets in around the holidays. It's true. It's true, ladies. So don't wait. You don't have to wait for a New Year's resolution. You know what you're doing. You know how you keep bumping your head. You know that you are argumentative. You know that you don't choose men that are husband material because the other one turns you on. There's a consequence for that. Psych says our choices are not free. It's going to cost us something. So choose wisely, ladies. I want all of you all to get to the age of 50 and look forward to growing old gracefully. Okay. Arnell says, good morning. Have a blessed day. Equal Responsibility says, thank you. I'm glad this was helpful. Honey Smile says, great advice. Yeah, they all come through. It's fine. Hello, Mika. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, my goodness. Dr. Steele says, as a 54-year-old man, I found out how having a woman could be beneficial. I was going through a medical situation where I needed assistance, and lucky for me, my parents helped me. Yeah, that's true for all of us, you all. I mean, let's face it. And we have a lot of women acting like, black don't crack and all of that. When you go to the doctor, we all are our age. Our bodies will naturally start to break down. Those of you all who are over 50 or, there are tests that we have to have as we age. You're going to start getting mail from AARP and different things like that. And I welcome it. I think a lot of the women that are fighting their age and fighting our biology is because they're not proud of where they are in life at this age. And so they're doing all of this stuff to try and be like, no, look, I still got it. No, look, let's nip and tuck and do all this. Y'all, the grays are going to do what they're going to do. And I know a lot of women don't want to think about themselves being a caregiver for a man. Have you thought about who's going to be a caregiver for you? Because let's face it, ladies, you're not eating well, sleeping well, you're drinking too much, you're on medications. Who's going to be there for you when your body starts to break down? My mom has been through a lot. Cancer, stroke. She has sickle cell. My dad is there taking her to every appointment. And yes, they fuss. They're older. Y'all know how they are. But she dedicated her life to him. She married at 23. I married at 25. It matters. Wichi says, what does God say? Because that matters. It matters to me. I know for some people, they say they don't believe, and that's fine. Nobody's going to fight you. But our natural biology is what it is. Equal Responsibility says dating is oversaturated with entitled women. Yeah, unfortunately, it's true. So once you see who they are, you leave them right there. If they could really land what they're asking for, they would have it. The Condemned says, lot to unpack there, but to sum up what she needs to do for the man she truly desires, she needs to prove herself and her worth to that man. She needs to understand her competition. Yes, ladies, we compete every day. Relationships. You all are enjoying this? All right, we'll wrap it up. Let me see what you all are saying in the chat. Absolutely. Pardon me. Dr. Steele says, recently my mom suffered a stroke and my dad and I were at the hospital. She's back at home and it's a blessing to have a husband. Just said that, right? My father who takes care of her. Yes, ladies, I think a lot of time you're short-sighted about what it's going to cost you, but you don't realize what you're going to get prioritizing relationships. Hello, Jorge. Yes, thank you. James says, it's not our great-grandparents' time. Times are easy, and as people, we are to relax. Love only exists as a word and not a feeling. Men and women don't have the same grit as our grandparents. I understand, partially disagree, but thank you for sharing. I think love is sacrifice. That's how I define it. Oh, yes. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad she's listening and hoping this is helpful. Yeah. Look, I always put myself on the hot seat. I thought as a marriage-minded woman who dated intentionally that I would be remarried quickly. But the man that I want told me he did not want a blended family. He sat me down and said, you have to finish what you start. So, ladies, we don't get just what we want because we want it. So I had a decision to make. I had all my girlfriends in my ear. Girl, he should have married this and that. That's fine. I decided to hitch my wagon to him. He is a man of his word and focus on being a mother. And now when I look up, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm looking forward to growing old gracefully. I got a lot of years left prayerfully, but my man has said, and Thane has said, ladies, you get one shot at the outcome that you want. You're not going to have multiple chances at this. Even me. I have an ex-husband who I respect and he respects me. We co-parent well, but you got to work out schedules with the kids. Sometimes I'm available, sometimes I'm not. I'm trying to be everything I need to be for my man. It is a lot. That is not how I planned it. Hopefully that's not how you are planning it. So even if you have a second chance, it's not going to be that intact dream that we want. So ladies, you get one chance. Use it wisely. Hello, everyone. Thank you all. Hopefully this is helpful. Wichi says, too many activities for children. You must not have young boys. I'm going to leave it at that. Honey Smile says, congratulations to Marcus. Yes, thank you. My family is all academic. My ex-husband's family is military. So again, legacy. It's not just about us, ladies. So I have to take a back seat and support their dream. All right. All right. Thank you all so much. Elaine says, thank you for this, Maggie. Hannah says, I wish I prioritized family. Yeah, there's nothing like regret, especially in older women. It's so sad to see. Thank you for the blessings. I receive it. Jorge says, beautiful. Thank you all so much for being here. Sleek says, we are entering cuffing season. This is the time it hits for many women. Sad but true. Shout out to Nana. Yeah, she's amazing. I want to get her back in the kitchen with me, but you all will see her. She's doing a little something different. Hello, Gillis. Thank you for the support. Sleek Tech says a lot of women especially try to shame by calling them hospice husbands who need constant looking after, when in reality, more of the women are in this situation. Yes, ladies, watch those slick words. You could be the one. My neighbor across the street, she had to have some type of back surgery, and her husband, also retired military, was doting on her. Be careful what you wish for, ladies. The men will leave you alone if that's what you want. Believe me, they are not going to fight you to be with you. There's just too many options of women, too many options. Public Enemy says, I love my time here. You are inspiring. Okay, we got through all the comments. Well, thank you, everyone. Again, the Wives Club is here for you all. Anytime Kevin Samuel's content is posted, I will come and I will give you my feedback as an older woman with marriage experience and a mom. So if it's helpful, I'm glad. Please continue to prioritize relationships. That's going to last over the test of time. All the accomplishments and the things that we collect, especially approaching into this time of year, the ones that really care for you and that you care for are what matter. So I miss the Godfather every day. And I hope to continue to keep his name in and on all of our lips. All right. So cheers, everyone. Let's see. Today is Sunday. So tomorrow I'll be doing another cooking stream. I make food and femininity content. So I'll be doing my collab with Miss Aisha tomorrow. We'll do some type of soup or something. And I'm Maggie, the substitute teacher. You can find me on all platforms, and I do stream every day. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a great Sunday.